So I thought I would be all fancy and wear my Vidcon Australia t-shirt, but this is a really terrible colour on me, so I apologise in advance that you're going to see me wearing this colour for this whole video because it's just not great. Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I thought I would share some of my thoughts on my Vidcon Australia experience because this is the second year that I've gone. Yes, and this t-shirt is not great, but no, I'm changing it. Yeah, that was terrible. So this is the design. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I just don't like the colour. So I'm going to apologise in advance because this is not going to be my most articulate video. If you would like a very articulate response to Vidcon, I'm going to direct you to Jane's channel. I will leave her link down below because she just posted a wrap up. Actually, if I can, I'll link it on the screen for you. And it was really good, and it really touches on a lot of things that I felt as well. So Vidcon was on last weekend, the 1st and 2nd of September. Technically it started on the Friday night, but I didn't actually go on the Friday night because it was cold and rainy, and it was just for the opening show, which I was not all that excited about. I actually preferred it last year when they had the opening address on the Saturday, but I can understand why they moved it. It didn't entice me to go out, particularly since it was pretty cold and wet and rainy in Melbourne over the weekend. Okay, so there were so many really great things that happened at Vidcon. There was also a whole lot of things that I think could be improved. I think I'm going to start with the really good things and then talk about things that I think could do with improvement if Vidcon comes back to Australia next year again. I don't know how likely it is because I don't know how successful they were this year, because you would think in the second year of Vidcon that it would get better. But I think something has happened behind the scenes. I think the organisers have changed or something, and I don't think there was the level of growth that there should have been. And in fact, in some areas, I actually think it went backwards, which was really disappointing. Just because that was disappointing, it didn't mean there weren't really good things happening. I went to a few panels over the weekend. My first one was Hank Green and Grace Helbig, and that was really fun. It was a really great way to start my Vidcon experience. I always like listening to Hank Green talk, and the sort of conversation that the two of them had was just really lovely, and it was just a nice chance to sit and get immersed in the experiences of people who have been on YouTube for a very long time. I have to admit that the talk that I went to that was from sort of the marketing people for YouTube Australia was not all that inspiring, and Jane has a really good talk about why that is, so definitely go and have a watch of her video for that. But there were other really good things. So I went to a panel to see some of the YouTubers that I do actually watch, and then I went to some on merchandising, and that stuff was really just interesting. That was stuff that was engaging for me. The highlight, however, were the networking sessions which Vidcon tried to organise and had people put forward suggestions for different networking groups that could get together and share and exchange details and information and experiences, and that was really fantastic. I went to 2 of those. I went to the female creators networking panel on the first day, and I went to the booktuber meetup on the second day, and I wish they'd both been on the first day. And in fact, I think all of the networking panels, this is something that's been rattling around my head, I think they should all be moved to the first day so that people actually have the opportunity to meet and then mingle and spend the weekend together, because I think that's where you build your really great connections. And I know I'm now a member of a group for the female creators networking session, and that's really awesome. And then I found out about other ones from the booktube networking session that I can now connect to and get into the community a little bit more that way. And that was really invaluable. I sort of want to shout out a whole lot of people that I met on the day. Now, not everyone had channels, or I didn't necessarily get their channel name, but I just wanted to mention them in case you guys have heard of them, because I think that's sort of really important. Now, there was a whole lot of big name people, and I'm not actually going to mention those because I think people know about them, but basically got a list here in my book of people that I met or exchanged business cards with. Business cards are a must if you go to Vidcon so that you can remember people's contact details, because it's really hard. I didn't have one last year, but I remembered this year and I took them, and it was just so much easier to go, hey, do you want my details, and have you got a card, so that I can remember who you are, because that is really useful. There was a whole bunch of people I met. So in the women's creators networking session, there were a lot of vloggers and mummy vloggers, which was fantastic. They were really lovely. There were people who were just starting out. There were people who were trying to get into sort of lifestyle videos, and there's some business people and all sorts of things. So without in no particular order. This is just how I listed them. So there was Steph Hef, Amara in Seattle, Ruby PH, Yes Miss Jane, who I've talked about. Jane is wonderful. Life is Lana, The Diary of a Young Mum, Oprah Briley, Ottilie and Loves, Wholesale, Ted, Books and Pieces, Michelle B and Channel Note. She has 2 channels. Sydney Mel, Practical Poppins, Working on Adequacy, Casey Corsley, It's Jess, Dezzles, who I met last year, and he's really wonderful as well. Amelia Dione, Rachel Ellis Reads, Kat from Stars and Embers, Cara Bottrell, B.R. Kyle, The Home Alone Project, Indy from Taps Life and Books, Grace from G Swizzle Books, and Carlos. And I'm sure there's people that I've missed. So if you were at one of those 2 networking sessions and I didn't get your username down, let me know in the comments, because particularly if you are an Australian booktuber, I have a page on my blog where I link to all the Australian booktubers that I know and follow, and I would love to add you guys to that. And I'll leave a link to my page in the comments as well, and I'll try and link to all of these YouTube channels as well if I can track them down. So I suppose that was the really fantastic thing, and the networking is really a huge part of what I think VidCon should be, so I'm glad that that went really, really well. The things that I think could be improved. There's a bit of a list. So the expo hall I find really, really disappointing, and I wish it wasn't that way because I think there's so much potential there. It's like they're trying to do a cross between Comic-Con and industry level show, but there's nothing really there for the creators necessarily. It's really community or industry based. I think it would be really nice to see that expand. And they had the really high level industry filming setup group. I don't kind of remember who they were, but I don't understand why they don't get in, you know, people who make cameras, and you know, you're at a video conferencing session and you've got a huge number of community people and teenagers, and that's why I tend to avoid the community stream, just because I was just not in the headspace for that. That's just too many people for me. You take get Canon, or I don't know, even get JB Hi-Fi in there and get them to sell things, because that would make a bucket load, and you could charge for space and whatnot, because that would be amazing. And you've got people there who want to upgrade their equipment, who want to get deals, who want to find out what other people are using. It's a great marketing opportunity, but there's nothing like that there. I mean, last year there was a bookstore there selling books from YouTube content creators, but that wasn't even there this year. I mean, as much as that irritated me that it wasn't other books, it was just things put out by YouTube creators. Why take it away? Because you're actually then selling the product of the creators and getting people involved in the community. And so many creators have merchandise, and I wondered why they couldn't have, you know, little tables or things set up and actually sell that stuff there and encourage that community aspect, because you would fill that expo hall. There's a lot of hands-on things that you can do, and that was really quite nice. They had fake tattoos, they had a group project, they had things where you could take photos and all sorts of things, but it just seemed like it was lacking, and I think that so much could be done to improve it. I am really hoping that they'll put out some feedback surveys or something like that for people to give feedback, because I think the industry tracks seem to do really well. The community track always does well, because there's always people who want to see their favorite YouTubers. I just felt like the creator strand was probably a little bit left out this time. I don't know. That was just my gut feeling. It would also be really great to see panels run by smaller YouTubers. So not just picking up on the people who are making money off their channel, or who have thousands and thousands of subscribers. Get in those networking groups and have them run panels, and have them talk to groups, and have them talk to community members, and get people involved. I did actually find it really strange that in the networking sessions that there didn't appear to be anyone from, you know, the YouTube head office or organizers or whatever, because why wouldn't you want to connect with the creators who are creating content for your channels? So to me that struck me as a little bit odd, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm being super idealistic. But I think there is a huge difference between the creators who are doing this as a profession and for income, and the creators who are doing this because they enjoy it and it's a hobby, and if you make some money on it, that's fantastic. I don't make money on my channel. I never have, and I do it because I enjoy it. And I go to VidCon because I want the opportunity to connect to people and to learn more, and, you know, see what opportunities are out there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I actually want to make money off my channel, because that would take a lot of work, and I work full time. And I can't give up my job to do this full time. I just don't have the resources to do that. And I think if I did, it would actually make this less fun. So I think they've got to really look at the different types of creators there are and create more space for that. And speaking of space, I love the Melbourne Convention Centre, but it is a huge, huge space, and I think some of the rooms should have been smaller so that it didn't seem like there was only a few people in a cavernous room, because if you'd had it in rooms, if you'd had some of the sessions in rooms half the size, it would have felt a lot more intimate and a lot more connected. So I think they've set it out like this big corporate event when really you're talking about people who, for the most part, are hobbyists. So, I mean, those are things that I think could be improved, but that's not saying that I didn't enjoy myself and I didn't have a good time, because the things that I really enjoyed more than made up for everything that I thought could have been improved. But there's always room for improvement in anything. And I think, you know, we need to be able to talk about, you know, what didn't work so well and what worked really well, and how can we capitalize on that. Hopefully this hasn't been too long and rambly and incoherent, but I suspect it probably has. This is why I don't do long rambly videos where I talk, because the words come out but I don't know about the order of them. If you're at Vidcon Australia, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, it was a really worthwhile experience, so don't think that this is all about me whinging about things, because it's not, because I did enjoy myself a lot. And it was absolutely lovely to finally meet quite a few people who I've only seen on YouTube and not had the chance to meet in person, and I know that it will be really great to connect with all of these people that I have met over the next coming months. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are having a wonderful day no matter where you are in the world, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.